We always have these sort of goals, usually financial, but of all kinds, that we think that when we get there and I work towards a certain amount of money, a certain amount of fame, a certain amount of whatever, that when I get there to this point, realistic or not, then I'll be free. And then I'll be able to relax and enjoy. And maybe I'll be, the typical on a beach in Thailand with a coconut where everything is paid for. I never worry about anything. And then I can live life. Then I can be enjoying. Then I can be having the experience that I want to have. And things will be fine then. And this assumption that I will be free when I get whatever place that I'm saying here is one that drives us to do a lot of good things and to be disciplined and to work when we don't want to work and to push ourselves to the limit of our capabilities and to, really in a lot of ways sacrifice the pleasure of the now for the one of the later. The problem is that this does not come by itself when this assumption is there. The other problem is that we incur the risk, the closer we get to that point, of losing the more and more hope, especially when you do get there, if you do get there. Because then what happens is that you do get there and you realize that I'm still me. I'm still here. I may have the money, I may have all these things, and I may have enjoyed it for a week or two, but now here I am. I am in the beach in Thailand drinking the coconut, and I'm bored, and I feel a lack of meaning inside, and I crave something to do and I don't know what I should do. I know a lot of those people even end up thinking like, and I found myself thinking this as well, like, man, it was better before. Because at least before I had the hope that when I got to this point it would be good and I was doing things. But now that I got here, I don't have the hope anymore. I'm just here with my coconut, drinking it, but when I should be happy, when I know I could, if I wanted to paint this in a great light on social media and make it seem that I have the best life in the world, I could do that. But that's not how I feel. And again, before I get to my conclusion here, this is not to say that, improving your environment and circumstances cannot improve drastically your life to a certain point. Of course it can. It's much better to be in that situation than it is in a concrete jungle with noise all around you all the time in a tiny house where you barely ever see nature. Of course, I'm with you on that. But what we have to recognize is that no matter how much luxury we can have and how much comfort and how much peace of mind and how much any of these things, human beings, all of us, we naturally crave things to do. More importantly here, especially if you're ambitious, we crave a challenge that almost feels impossible, that really sits at that intersection of very difficult, but that I'm capable of doing. And that's what we're always trying to find. You see these people that get to these situations of early retirement or whatever, and they're not just there doing nothing, especially if it's a good retirement that they actually had to work for it. Why do you think so many old people take up golf or some activity that looks very dumb, but they can do the whole day and they're always thinking about improving? And you may look at them and think, bro, you're going to die in like 5 years. Why do you care so much about this? Because we need these challenges and we need ways to keep our mind occupied. And I would go a step further. We need challenges that, yes, they're difficult. Yes, they bring out the best of us, but that they're also meaningful. And that they bring out the best of us, but not only in execution capability, but also in the traits that I feel like nowadays are very lacking: in humility, in kindness, in patience, in a sort of Uncle Iroh type of character that no matter if you're rich or poor, or even the guy that's trying to rob him like in the show, he shows you those things and he displays those things to you. But we cannot get there. And we cannot, I feel like hope to really reach an existence that feels lighter and feels better and feels, more complete if we think it's going to happen when we get to a certain point, because it won't happen there. It happens, funnily enough, in my experience, on the way there. It is as you are striving for a goal, you realize that you are in the exact place you want to be, on the searching of it, because once you get there, yeah, you enjoy it a little bit, but then you want a new goal. And then you get to that and you want a new goal. So really what we want is not to get to a point. It is not to get to a goal. It is, yes, to have a goal, but it is to walk it. For how cliche this may be at this point, but I don't think a lot of us very often recognize that what we do want, really, if we're honest, and if we imagine the end game scenario of it all, when you can do whatever you want, what would that whatever you want be? Would it just Nothing? Would you be doing nothing the whole day? No. It would be things I would like to do more. Would that be reading or painting or writing or riding a horse? Who knows? Maybe you don't even know that because you're so busy in trying to get to that point that you don't even know what you're after. You don't even know what this I would like to do thing is because you just think that you get to that point and life is solved. But life is never solved when we're staying in the same place, when we're reaching something or when we reach something, sorry, or somewhere. Life is solved and life happens, sorry, I spit, in its perfection when we are in that striving of something, but we are recognizing, in my opinion, that we are where we want to be. We are in the doing side of things. We are in the figuring out side of things. We are in that beginning of the story when you're reading a book, that's exciting type of thing. That's when life is happening. The getting to it is just, I feel like the older I get, I recognize that the getting there is just, it's just an excuse to do things. Yeah, I get there, it's nice, but it's really the doing, the getting there that was so nice, that was so pleasant, that was so pleasurable. Because then you get there. When you're there, it lasts a fraction of a second. The getting there, it happened. That's it. Now you're there. And now what? Now you wake up the next day, life's still the same. You still cook your eggs and bacon for breakfast. You still, wake up, check your phone. You're still you. You may have more money, you may have more freedom, and those things are, in a lot of ways desirable because they allow us to be in better conditions, surrounded by better people, surrounded by not so much chaos, more nature, all these things. But by themselves, they're never enough because human being is not a creature that is satisfiable ever. We are always striving for something. And I do think that the wise thing is to recognize that, yes, we need something to strive for. Yes, that has to be a lot of times something concrete, but it is in the doing, in the getting there that we do find that purpose, that meaning, and in a lot of ways, that freedom we're looking for. And in a lot of ways, I feel, to end, because this is how I wrote it, and I still want to say this quote here from Eddie Vedder from his song Society. Not Society, that's how he sings it. The song is called Society. But the lyric goes, "Society, you're one crazy breed. I hope you're not lonely without me." And a lot of times this is how I feel because and I think more and more people are feeling like that because it's like, I'm so tired of playing these games. I don't want to be playing these games of I'm going to get rich and famous and I'm going to be flexing my things. I just want to be left alone, doing the things I want to do, striving for the things I want to do, honestly, doing the good work, developing the good traits, and actually living life while it's happening and not hoping for a point in the future.